Another gun-related incident in Georgia, and Trump will make his way to California soon.
Disney is making big moves for kids across the country, and get ready for glitz, glam, and celebs this weekend. This and more in today's episode of OC News.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for this week's episode of OC News. I'm Regina Urita.
And I'm Jory Goldbach. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton. Another school shooting happened again, this time at Georgia High School this morning, where a teacher is responsible. Dalton High School teacher Randall Davidson barricaded himself in his classroom and refused to let students in. Davidson then fired the gun out of the exterior window of the classroom when the principal stuck his key in the lock. No students were injured. However, a female student did injure her ankle while running for safety. The school went into lockdown, and the police were able to get Davidson out of the room and into custody within 30 to 45 minutes. Police say there's no evidence that Davidson was trying to fire at anyone. Davidson is a social studies teacher and a well-known figure in the community. He is known for doing the play-by-plays for the high school football team. As of right now, police have not released the motive of the shooting.
Survivors of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School returned to classes today. Many students walked into the school full of grief and apprehension while returning to the scene of tragedy. Counselors and other staff tried to give students a sense of normalcy, but from the day's start, it was clear that things would be anything but normal. Their day began with law enforcement officers and flashing patrol cars surrounding the outside of campus, and 17 seconds of silence was given to honor those lost in the shooting. Students also placed flowers on empty desks with encouraging posters to pay tribute. The recent waves of school shootings have sparked a massive debate on gun control. President Trump and the NRA have suggested that the teachers should be armed. Today, the school superintendent weighed in on the issue.
I am not in favor of arming teachers. Why don't we just add another 10 law enforcement personnel on campus? That's what we should do. We should be funding school resource officers, law enforcement people, not arming our teachers. They have enough of a burden on their plate, trying to deal with everything that they have to squeeze it into an instructional day.
Dick's Sporting Goods announced that it will stop selling assault-style weapons like the one used in Parkland, Florida high school shooting. Dick's will not sell high-capacity magazines that allow shooters to fire far more rounds than traditional weapons without reloading. As well as other accessories, the company had stopped selling military-style, semi-automatic weapons in its Dick's branded sporting stores after the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in 2012. But they were still available at its 35 Field and Stream stores. Now it will pull every one of those weapons from its stores and stop selling them. The CEO of Dick's Sporting Goods expressed his concerns for tougher gun control measures by having the company raise the minimum age for all gun sales to 21. Walmart also plans to raise the minimum age to buy firearms to 21.
Public backlash after the Parkland shooting has caused many large companies to cut their ties from the NRA. Jessica Lucero has more on this story.
The Parkland school shooting is nearly 2 weeks old. It was a day full of fear and loss for so many. The massacre has now led to a nationwide revolt. Up until last week, membership with the NRA meant a new access to discounts for many different companies. The perks were endless. Since then, many companies have announced that they would no longer offer their discounts to members of the NRA. Enterprise-owned companies announced their brands would no longer offer NRA membership discounts starting in March. Hertz ended their rental car discount program, and MetLife will no longer offer NRA member discounts for home and auto insurance. A few airlines joined in on the mix. Delta announced they would end their discounted rates for NRA members. United Airlines also said the NRA annual meeting would no longer receive discounted flights. Among the company strikes, there have also been gun control rallies taking place, which have been heavily concentrated in Florida over the last 2 weeks. As recent as the 26th, the NRA then tweeted that people joined the NRA to express their love for the Second Amendment, not for money. Since then, President Trump spoke to government officials regarding his plan for gun control.
I want highly trained people that have a natural talent, like hitting a baseball or hitting a golf ball.
While Trump is not in favor of banning guns completely, he did vow to ban bump stocks. This was one of the accessories used in the recent Las Vegas shooting last October.
bump stocks, we're writing that out. I'm writing that out myself. I don't care if Congress does it or not. I'm writing it out myself, okay?
The students have been joined by Women's March organizers who have had enough. They've scheduled a walkout to protest gun violence. It will begin at 10 a.m. in all time zones and last for 17 minutes for each victim who was lost in the shooting. For OC News, I'm Jessica Lucero.
FedEx and Amazon are still in partnership with the NRA. We'll stay tuned to see if other companies follow suit.
Trump has threatened that the wall between California and Mexico will not be built until the whole wall is approved. 4 environmental groups in California had challenged the building of the wall, but President Trump threatened to pull the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency out of California for not agreeing with his plans. A U.S. district judge sided with the president on Tuesday. Construction began last week in Calexico, California to replace over 2 miles of the border wall. 8 prototypes of the future wall have been also constructed in San Diego. Trump plans to visit San Diego in mid-March to see the 8 prototypes. He is also attending a fundraiser in LA during his visit. The Trump administration suffered a major setback Monday night when the U.S. Supreme Court denied to hear President Trump's on deferred action, or DACA. Reporter Tyra Majors is live with more on that story. Tyra?
Thank you, ladies. Yes, major setback for the Trump administration. As you may know, President Trump last fall made plans to end DACA, the program that supports undocumented immigrants who came into the country as children. Now, on Monday night, the U.S. Supreme Court declined President Trump's appeal to end the program. The Trump administration made plans to end it by March 5th. However, now that deadline has been pushed back. Reporting live with OC News, this is Tyra Majors. Back to you all in the studio.
The Olympics brought people together, but a lot of chaos happened behind the scenes. More than 100 girls are missing in Nigeria, and the war in Syria is still going. Our reporter, Miri Sonoto, has more.
Yes, a lot of things are happening in the world. While the closing ceremony at Pyeongchang Olympics showed excitement with the shirtless Olympian from Tonga and some K-pop stars, one country, however, couldn't celebrate the ceremony like other countries did. The International Olympic Committee didn't allow Russian athletes to parade with their own flag during the closing ceremony because 2 of them at Pyeongchang failed drug tests. IOC President Thomas Bach says the failed tests were, quote, very disappointing and prevented the IOC from considering lifting the ban for the closing ceremony, end quote. But the IOC rules Russia can participate in future Olympics if it doesn't find any more doping violations from them. More than 100 girls are missing after Boko Haram, the Islamic State in West Africa, attacked their school in Nigeria. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari says, quote, "We're sorry that it happened. We share your pain. Let me assure that our gallant armed forces will locate and safely return all the missing girls," end quote, in his Twitter. An airstrike killed again 10 people in Gaza, Syria after the United Nations Security Council approved 30-day ceasefire in the country. It brought the city's death toll to 24 since UN made the decision. The constant attacks in the city killed more than 520 people from last Sunday. People in Gaza hasn't seen any changes after the UN decision. That's all I have for today. Back to the studio.
Time for a break. Coming up next, severe weather conditions coming to Southern California. Can this ruin your weekend?
And a basketball star's emotional tribute from a loving fan. Could he have been his good luck charm during last night's big game? Plus,
and coming up next, let's see what Costa Mesa is doing to clean up its homelessness problem.
We'll be giving you a closer look after our break. Stay tuned.
Is a story. Behind every story is the reason for transparency.
homelessness is not just an issue in Anaheim. Costa Mesa has had its share of problems with waste that the city is trying to fix. Zach Slopemaker has more on their plan.
On November 30th last year, the city of Costa Mesa partnered with its sanitary district on coming up with the money needed to fund a $43,000 program to provide mobile restrooms for the homeless. This action follows a hepatitis A outbreak in Southern California that caused 20 deaths due to sewer overflow. This 6-month program would be considered a trial run that would collect necessary data in reducing public defecation for good. In addition to targeting places of higher homeless population, the program is hoping to provide relief to local businesses.
We have a lot of complaints from folks on Harbor Boulevard, which is our primary corridor in the city, that are having impacts because people are going to the restroom in their business or on and around their business. And so I think that if we're going to have this program, we should have a location around Harbor.
Sacramento faced a similar problem to the Anaheim riverbed in Costa Mesa with encampment waste, which weighed almost 2 tons. Sacramento's similar program resulted in a 90% decrease in total waste. The Pit Stop program, as Sacramento called it, costed close to $175,000. A large portion of these programs' money is focused on the staffing of these restrooms.
Trellis is a nonprofit, and it's an organization that is a collection of 18 different faith-based groups or churches in the city. The concept was that they would have some information so that if somebody was interested in getting some information about their services or services that were available, they could be provided at the restrooms.
Now, although the mobile restroom idea did pretty well in places like Sacramento, Miami, and San Francisco, this past Tuesday, there were some very clear dissenting opinions in the council chambers.
They're idiots,
well,
okay? It's my opinion.
He's referring to...
Everyone in the sanitation district, 5-0, thought this was a great idea, was an idiot.
Shame on you.
Okay? And anybody who thinks that if you're going to give more services to people, you're going to get less of them, you're not thinking right.
Council members Righeimer and Mansour both vocalized their doubts about the plan's outcome during the meeting. The result of the meeting was a hold on the funding for the program, and on a 3-2 vote requested that the staff members work with the sanitary district and the impacted businesses to refine the plan. For now, that's all I have for you. This is Zach Slopemaker with OC News.
City of Costa Mesa has made its efforts to help the homeless community, and they're moving in the right direction by creating these mobile restrooms. Thanks, Zach. Temperatures making its way through California are not only affecting but pretty much everyone in the state. We now go live to our reporter Alyssa Ruiz, who will tell us about the mess the storm has caused so far. Alyssa?
Thanks, guys. Although it is sunny right now, that wasn't the case 2 days ago when hail swept through Southern California, something we're frankly just not used to. As temperatures dropped and ice chunks fell from the sky Tuesday evening, California took advantage of the rare sight. The storm began in San Francisco and descended into Southern California and the Sierra Nevada, where snow fell. Slowly escaping their long-lasting drought, California is starting to recover. Scientists declared more than 40% of the state in moderate drought, as opposed to its previous severe drought. This comes only 1 month after the deadly mudslides devastated the Montecito area, killing a total of 21 people. On late Monday, officials issued a pre-evacuation advisory to Santa Barbara County in hopes the community would not revisit another tragedy. However, the storm did weaken as it made its way down the coast, and no evacuations took place. We are getting a few days of sunshine here before the storm returns on Friday and Saturday, so prepare to stay indoors and stay dry. Live in Fullerton, I'm Alyssa Ruiz with OC News. Back to you in the studio.
Grab your jackets and umbrellas because we're expected to see more chilly weather and rain later this week. Here's Amanda Palacios with this week's forecast.
That's right, you will need your jacket because this week's forecast calls for sweater weather. Let's take a look at today's temperatures. Today we have a high of 57 and a low of 47, but as we go into the night, the winds will pick up to 7 miles per hour. Now we take a look at our 5-day forecast. As we move into Friday, we will see rain, so plan on grabbing that umbrella, and if you plan on heading to work, make sure to get an early start to your day. And on Saturday, the rains will continue, but they will be more so in the morning, and as the day picks up by, we will see lower forecasts, and the temperatures will continue to drop. But as we go on to Monday, we will see the temperature will pick up again, so you can get rid of those jackets and have a nice day outside. Now let's take a look at our national forecast. All right, so we can see if Florida does have higher temperatures. They will be in the upper 70s, but more so the Midwest is not so lucky. Let's take a look at Texas and southern Arkansas. They will be experiencing tornadoes and high gusts of wind, and they will also see hail. And we move on to Big Bear. Let's take a look at the mountains. Big Bear will be experiencing lower 30s tomorrow and Friday, but on Friday you will see 3 inches of snow. And it calls for a good snow day, so if you plan on heading up that day, make sure to grab your snowboard or skis. And that's today's forecast.
One of the biggest stories in Orange County this year was the death of Blaze Bernstein. His parents are calling on the public to help keep his legacy alive. Shannon McKersher was at his memorial this past week and has more on the story.
Family and friends of slain 19-year-old Blaze Bernstein never thought he would be a victim of a hate crime. Over 2,500 people gathered at the Seastrom Auditorium for an emotional tribute in remembrance of Blaze Bernstein.
Still, when somebody like this is taken from you so quickly in such a terrible way, you feel like they're still part of you, even though you know they're gone.
Over 2,500 people came to celebrate the life of Blaze Bernstein, 19-year-old Penn State student who went missing in January. His body was found in Lakewood Park.
Well, I'm very dear friends with the Bernsteins, and I happened to be there the night that Blaze went missing. I don't know if you know the word kishkas, but this hits me right in my gut.
Prosecutors alleged a former high school classmate, 20-year-old Samuel Woodward, stabbed Bernstein to death because he was gay.
Horrible stuff going on in the world. Like, the reason we're here is because of a horrible, god-awful thing. But you can do good. You can. And it could be a little thing. And it's going to change the world. So you can change the world, and we wanted to make something good happen out of this tragedy, so we asked that everybody else does too.
Bernstein's parents support the LGBT community and hope their son's death helps promote diversity and tolerance. Cops have ruled Bernstein's death as a hate crime. An investigation is underway. They hope to spread #BlazeItForward to inspire people to commit acts of kindness all around the country.
What a great way to make something positive out of a heartbreaking situation. We should all contribute to #BlazeItForward.
Black Panther's box office boom is being celebrated by a generous donation from a corporate giant to a special program.
For all you travel enthusiasts on a budget, we have a special way of commuting that will get you to your favorite destinations. We'll be sharing the latest tips after our short break.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today?
Let's do those pearly whites, man.
Yeah! The boys, check it out. Stand up, do my terrorists, don't compare us. Go!
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's the sound? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Grand Central Market, located in downtown Los Angeles, has been a cultural landmark for over a century. Our reporter Terry Gaines took a trip and tried foods from around the globe.
Located in downtown Los Angeles, Grand Central Market is a hub of bars and restaurants, serving an array of items representing different cultures around the globe. The market opened over a century ago, in 1917, and draws in an estimated 2 million visitors annually. The location is a mixture of past and present, with shoppers able to purchase staples like eggs and meat, but also trendier items including pressed juices and craft beers. Sarita's Pupuseria, a popular Salvadorian restaurant, has been in the market for over 2 decades and was recently featured in the 2017 Oscar-nominated film La La Land. Sarah Clark, one of the owners of the restaurant, says that the vast array of foods available and history of the location is what continues to draw people in.
The antiquity and everything it represents, everything it offers to the public, different things to eat, and people like to see the central market that's been here for more than 100 years.
According to Clark, the busiest times at the market is virtually all day, every day.
Special events, the market is usually very busy. All year, a lot of people are always here.
This is pupusas, one of the most popular dishes at Cerritos. Stop by the Grand Central Market, open 7 days a week, and see what you can find. I'm Terry Gaines with OC News.
What a great place to take family and friends. I'll have to check it out myself next time I'm in LA. Spring break is just around the corner, and if you're like me, I'm sure you got a lot of traveling on your mind. Let's go to Cheryl Posadas for the latest on the traveling industry and a few tips to get you started.
Traveling can be an adventure, especially when your flight gets canceled and your baggage gets lost. We have the latest stories on how airlines are improving their flight cancellations and where your baggage really ends up. Travelers, you are in for a treat. Delta and American Airlines partner up once again to revive a deal they last had in 2015. Passengers will have the opportunity to board either plane, but only if their flight is canceled due to bad weather or computer technical issues. This means no more waiting around for long hours or even days for the next available plane to board. Speaking about airport mishaps, what can be worse than getting a flight canceled? Losing your baggage. After the 90-day policy, a store called the Unclaimed Baggage Center will buy your bag. The Unclaimed Baggage Center is located in Alabama and is home to over 1 million items. The items found in either a lost or forgotten baggage go through a sorting process.
In fantastic shape. It's got a couple of the ringlets missing. Anything that says Coke has good resale value.
Lucky customers have found headphones, expensive perfume, Versace wedding gowns, MacBooks, clothes, and more clothes. For us college students, but once in a while we deserve to have some fun. The Coast Starlight Amtrak has been called one of America's most beautiful train rides. The train starts from Los Angeles and takes passengers on an adventure through California, Oregon, and Washington. On your way to your destination, you can make stops in Santa Barbara, Morro Bay, Monterey, San Francisco, and many more. The best part is that ticket prices start at only $97. Spring break around the corner. That train ride doesn't seem like a bad idea. That's all I have for you today. Back to the studio.
Reporter Emma Perla gives us an inside look of costumes used in your favorite 2017 movies.
The FIDM Museum and Galleries is hosting its 26th annual exhibition of motion picture costume designs. What would a film be without a costume designer? The gallery has the actual costumes worn on the set of the most popular movies of 2017, including some nominated for the Academy Award in Costume Design. The films nominated are Phantom Thread by Mark Bridges, Beauty and the Beast, designed by Jacqueline Duran, and the film Victoria and Abdul, costume designed by Consolata Boyle.
I was the best figure skater in the world.
Nominated for actress in a leading role is Margot Robbie in I, Tonya. The designs were emulated from those worn by the controversial figure skater Tonya Harding. Wonder Woman broke box office records with more than 800 million made worldwide. The film didn't get an Oscar nomination, but you can take a close look at the actual costume. This museum is filled with mannequins true to the size of the actors portraying the characters. Evil clown Pennywise came back to haunt children in the It remake. You can see the details on his sleeve. Candy to lure in his victims. The museum is open to the public and you can come admire and sketch out the designs used in the biggest films of 2017. Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Lady Bird, Dunkirk, The Greatest Showman, Jumanji, and many more. The museum is open through April 7th, where you can come take a close look at Oscar-nominated costume designs. I'm Emma Perla for OC News.
Don't miss the Oscars airing this Sunday and tune into our special Oscars edition of Al Dia and OC News next week.
And now we go to Gabriela Castanilla, who has the latest news in entertainment news.
Thank you, ladies. Yes, I'm bringing you all the latest in Hollywood, from an incarcerated actress to Kanye going head-to-head with the Kardashians, and how you can possibly get your hands on some Drake memorabilia from his Degrassi days. Let's take a look. Step aside, Will Smith, because there may be a new Fresh Prince in town. Or should I say, Princess? The company that owns the rights to Fresh Prince is now seeking to own the trademark rights to Fresh Princess. This caused speculation of a possible reboot of the popular 90s sitcom. The trademark will include on-air rights and involves merchandise such as clothing, footwear, bags, and more. So far, there isn't any confirmation to whether or not there will be a reboot, or if Will is going to be involved. This past Sunday night, Melrose Place actress Heather Locklear was arrested for felony domestic violence and battery on a police officer. The incident occurred after authorities responded to a domestic violence call from a house in Thousand Oaks. According to TMZ, the 56-year-old has had substance abuse problems and domestic violence issues in the past. Locklear was later released after posting bail and is said to have a court date March 13th. It's no surprise that the iconic rapper Drake is breaking records this week with his single God's Plan, leading Billboard's Hot 100 for the 5th week in a row. However, what is taking over headlines is the sale of his Degrassi-era notebook. This purple notebook is said to be dated back to 2002, only 1 year after Drake began his role as Jimmy on Degrassi. According to TMZ, the purple spiral notebook contains song lyrics in Drake's own version of Biggie Smalls' 10 Crack Commandments, which he titles 10 Mac Commandments. This notebook is said to be auctioned for $54,000. Drake isn't the only rapper causing excitement in the news this week. This past weekend, rapper Kanye West filmed a celebrity family feud with the infamous Kardashian family. The teams were divided up by West versus Kardashian-Jenners. Kim was partnered up with hubby West alongside 3 other members of his family. According to a video posted on Snapchat by Kim this week, being a guest on the show was a lifelong dream of Kanye's. The highly anticipated episode is said to be aired this upcoming summer. And that's all I have for you guys this week. Back to you, ladies.
The Walt Disney Company will donate $1 million to the STEM programs in the United States. This donation is following the success of the box office superhero hit Black Panther. Black Panther's younger sister, Shuri, is an innovator with technology and designs high-tech suits and gadgets for her brother. Disney is donating the money directly to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, which offers children to have experiences with technology like 3D printers and robots. The STEM program is aimed to gear curriculum towards science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Black Panther is grossed to make $708 million worldwide.
Miami Heat star guard Dwayne Wade got emotional this Monday as he reflected on Joaquin Oliver, who was one of the 17 people killed in the Marjorie Douglas High School shooting. After Oliver's parents told Univision that they buried their son wearing Wade's Miami Heat jersey, it was only fitting for the star basketball player to pay tribute by writing Oliver's name on his sneakers and dedicating the winning game against the Philadelphia 76ers to him. Well, that's all we have for tonight's episode on OC News.
Stay tuned for next week's special Oscar edition, where we'll be covering the biggest wins of the night and more.
Remember, you can be part of the conversation by showing us some love on all our social media platforms at OC News CSUF. I'm Regina for OC News.
And I'm Dory. See you guys next week.